And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics, and now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, Live 365 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio. That's 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And then I'm on 405 Media Radio from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows, and you can access my show live right from my website each day simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Dial directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, in today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Today, my expert contributor is Suzette Mailer with her series, The IFAB Travel Corner, and my special guest, Sean Lefebvre, with his series, Geared for Wellness. I'm not sure what Sean's going to talk about. We may just be having a basic conversation, but whatever it is, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be really, really interesting. So, stand by for news, but before that, I want you to know that at 4:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 92, and boy, it's a lot cooler than it's been, and I can't hardly wait for it to get down to the 62 that is forecasted at. That ought to be really something special. But you know what? I promised you news, and so news it will be. Let's get right to it. Obama's Iran deal may well survive on Capitol Hill. Yep, you heard me right. Here's the deal. The fiercely contested Iran nuclear deal will likely survive in Congress despite unified GOP opposition and some Democratic defections, the top Senate Republican says. That would mean a major foreign policy win for President Barack Obama. Obama has a great likelihood of success, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said in his home state of Kentucky this week, giving public voice to what other Republicans have acknowledged in private. I hope we can defeat it, but the procedure is obviously stacked in the president's favor. Indeed, even as Congress's August recess has hardened Republicans' opposition to the deal on Capitol Hill and on the presidential campaign trail, reality is setting in. They probably can't stop it. Significant Democratic defections from Obama would be required in both chambers of Congress, and even with opponents mounting a strenuous lobbying campaign in key congressional districts, such a prospect looks remote. That means that even with Obama firmly in lame duck territory and his GOP opponents in control of Congress and aiming for the White House, the president is on the verge of a legacy-defining victory on a pact that he and and his supporters say will keep the world safe from Iran's nuclear ambitions. Opponents continue to warn furiously that the result could be just the opposite, to strengthen Tehran's hand in an existential threat to Israel and the world. Well, time will tell. On Tuesday, a second Democratic Senator, Bob Menendez of New Jersey, did announce his opposition to the deal, joining Chuck Schumer of New York. Well, we'll see. Looks like we're headed for it. Be very honest with you, I don't see a reason not to do it. It just makes sense, right? It does to me anyway. Well, here's one for you. FDA approves female sex pill, but with safety restrictions. The Food and Drug Administration today approved the first prescription drug designed to boost sexual desire in women, a milestone long sought by a pharmaceutical industry eager to replicate the blockbuster success of impotence drugs for men. But stringent safety measures on the daily pill called Adil, I think it's called, mean it will probably never achieve the sales of Viagra, which has generated billions of dollars since the late 1990s. The drug's label will bear a boxed warning, the most serious type, alerting doctors and patients that combining the pill with alcohol can cause dangerously low blood pressure and fainting. That same risk can occur when taking the drug with other commonly prescribed medications, including antifungals used to treat yeast infections. This is not a drug you take an hour before you have sex. You have to take it for weeks and months in order to see any benefit at all, said Lenore Teifer, a psychologist and sex therapist who organized a petition last month calling on the FDA to reject the drug. Wow. Times are changing, huh? Yeah, I guess so. Well, a man in a yellow shirt is the focus of Bangkok bombing probe. In the grainy security video, a man in a yellow shirt sits on a bench at the crowded Erawan shrine, removes a backpack he is wearing, and leaves it behind when he walks away. For police hunting who was responsible for Monday's deadly bombing in central Bangkok, there was no doubt about the man with youthful shaggy dark hair and glasses. The yellow shirt guy is not just the suspect, he's the bomber, police spokesman Lieutenant General Pawit Travishnoni, Travansiri, told the Associated Press on Tuesday. Prime Minister Chanchoa called the shrine bombing near a busy intersection that killed 20 and wounded more than 100 the worst incident that has ever happened in Thailand, and he promised to track down those responsible. There have been minor bombs or just noise, but this time they aimed for innocent lives, Payuth said. They want to destroy our economy and our tourism. They want to destroy everything. It's not just that. How about this? Military likely to open most combat jobs to women. Whoa. 2 women have now passed the Army's grueling Ranger test, and even tougher and more dangerous jobs could lie ahead. The military services are poised to allow women to serve in most frontline combat jobs, including special operations forces, senior officials told the Associated Press. Based on early talks, officials say the Army, Navy, and Air Force likely will not seek exceptions that close any jobs to women. Marine Corps leaders say that they have expressed concerns about allowing women to serve in infantry jobs, and yet may seek an exception. The services are wrapping up reviews and must make their recommendations to Defense Secretary Ash Carter this fall. The officials spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the internal debate. Even if Marine leaders object, they are likely to meet resistance from senior Navy and Defense Department officials who want the military to be united on this issue. Undercutting the Marines' reservations is that Special Operations Command is likely to allow women to compete for the most demanding military commando jobs, including the Navy SEALs and the Army Delta Force, though with the knowledge that it may be years before women even try to enter those fields. Women have been steadily moving into previously all-male jobs across the military, including as members of the Army's 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, best known as the helicopter crews that flew Navy SEALs into Osama bin Laden's compound. Women are also now serving on Navy submarines and in Army artillery units. Wow. Give that some thought, right? Well, coming up next, we've got a television report. Subway pitchman to admit to child porn charges. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. And you know what? I told you about a TV report that was actually came out today. And it's a subway pitchman to admit to child porn charges. You know, longtime Subway pitchman Jared Fogle is expected to plead guilty to child pornography charges. An Indiana television station reported that just today. The report on Fox 59 comes 6 weeks after authorities seized electronics and other items from Fogle's home in Zionsville, an affluent Indianapolis suburb. Citing sources it did not identify, the station said Fogle would enter a plea Wednesday. It also said that the U.S. Attorney's Office in Indianapolis planned to hold a news conference on Wednesday. The 37-year-old Fogle became a Subway pitchman more than 15 years ago after shredding more than 200 pounds as a college student, in part by eating the chain's sandwiches. Subway suspended its relationship with Fogle after the raid. The company declined to comment today, saying only that the chain had already ended our relationship with Jared. Ron Elberger, an Indianapolis attorney who represents Fogle, said today via email that he had no comment on the reports. Tim Horty, a spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Indianapolis, said he could not comment on the report. Well, if nobody's going to comment on the report, I guess I shouldn't comment on it either, you know. So what the heck, until we know what the heck's going on. How about this? Turkey's Erdogan takes a gamble, eyes a new election. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan approved a shadow of his former self, or actually appeared a shadow of his former self, after his party suffered major losses in the June election. Embattled and no longer in control of his political fate, his once dominant movement was forced into the humiliating position of seeking a coalition with opposition parties intent on reining him in. 2 months later, the shrewd politician seems to be back in the saddle. The coalition building he reportedly opposed was collapsed, and Turkey is now edging closer toward the new election he has been angling for. Erdogan appears to be betting that a new ballot could revive the fortunes of the Islamic-rooted party, which he founded and led for more than a decade. That would put him back on course to reshape Turkey's democracy, giving the largely ceremonial presidency sweeping powers that would allow him to wield control over government affairs. Wow. It just keeps right on going. Well, police are searching for Rosie O'Donnell's daughter. Police are searching for Rosie O'Donnell's 17-year-old daughter, Chelsea, who has not been seen since leaving the family's home north of New York City last Tuesday. That's a week ago. O'Donnell's daughter left the house with a therapy dog. She has not been taking needed medication, according to O'Donnell's spokeswoman, Cindy Chelsea. Like millions of people, lives with mental illness. It has been a difficult road for Chelsea and her family, and they just want her back safe, Berger said. She was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt hoodie, dark ripped blue jeans, gray Converse sneakers, and a black backpack. Police authorities in Rockland County, New York, have been searching for her since Sunday. O'Donnell tweeted that her daughter may be in New York City, which is about 25 miles south of her home in Nyack. Let's hope that they get this young girl and that she's not hurt in any way. Everybody, be on the lookout. Well, from lawyers, accusers' testimony in prep school rape case is key. Prosecutors and defense lawyers in the trial of an elite prep school graduate charged with raping a freshman girl as part of a campus practice of sexual conquest told jurors today the case hinges on accusers' credibility. Prosecutor Catherine Ruffle said in her opening statement that Owen Labrie of Turnbridge, Vermont, raped the 15-year-old girl at a campus building as part of a senior salute to the prestigious St. Paul's School in Concord. She referred to the practice as the context for this entire event. On the witness stand today, the accuser broke down crying and pointed to Labrie when asked if she was in the courtroom. The petite student, her ash blonde hair pulled back from her forehead, told jurors the two weren't friends and he was a classmate of her older sister. She said she thought his invitation to a senior salute when seniors seek out young students at sexual contests was disgusting because it was written so sappily. I thought his intentions were really wrong, she said, but she considered when a male friend persuaded her. The teen said senior salute was well known on campus, but she didn't think it involved any special expectations. Well, I guess she was wrong. A little naive. Of course, she's only 15 years old, right? So give her a break. High-tech cars bring Detroit and Silicon Valley face to face. Wait till you hear this. The office has all the trappings of a high-tech startup. There's a giant beanbag in the foyer and erasable whiteboard walls for brainstorming. Someone's pet dog lounges happily on the sunny balcony. Welcome to the Palo Alto home of the Ford Motor Company, 6 miles from the headquarters of Google. Meanwhile, in a squat industrial building in suburban Detroit, a short drive from Ford's headquarters, workers are busy building a small fleet of driverless cars. The company behind them? Google. The convergence of cars and computers is blurring the traditional geographical boundaries of both industries. Silicon Valley is dotted with research labs opened by automakers and suppliers who are racing to develop high-tech infotainment systems and autonomous cars. Tech companies looking to grow and sensing an industry that's ripe for disruption are heading to Detroit to better understand the auto industry and get their software embedded into cars. The result is both heated competition and unprecedented cooperation between two industries that rarely spoke to each other 5 years ago. Wow. Can you imagine? Here we go, folks. Well, and finally, let me leave you with this. New limbs and new hope for Africa's hunted albino children. As a 5-year-old Baraka Cosmos Lasambo slept in his family's home in western Tanzania in March, men wielding torches and knives burst in, knocked his mother unconscious, held him down, and sliced off his right hand in the name of witchcraft. Baraka, his albinism, a condition that leaves the afflicted with little or no pigment in their skin or eyes and makes their body parts valuable to the black market in parts of Africa as ingredients in potions said to give the user wealth and good luck. We are simply steeping We were simply sleeping when someone just arrived, Baraka told the Associated Press recently for an interview conducted in his native Swahili. They came to me with machetes. Wow. How horrible. How absolutely horrible is that? Now, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to give you some good news. Yeah, the IRS loses. In the first case, tax court reverses itself on filed when mailed rule for motions. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And you know what? I tell you this all the time. This just sends chills up and down my spine, gets me so excited when we start talking about it. You know what? But we ought to stop talking about it and get right to it. First case up is the IRS loses. Tax court reverses itself on filed when mailed, the rule for motions. You know what? Here's the case. A taxpayer's petition to go to tax court was rejected by the court for a technical reason. Within the 90 days allowed to appeal, the taxpayer mailed in a motion seeking reconsideration, but it was delivered to the court after the deadline. So here's the conflict. In an earlier case, the tax court held that the tax code's filed when mailed rule that applies to IRS rulings did not apply to such court motions. Now, a court of appeals actually is reversed, but that bound the tax court only in that one appeal circuit. There's a new ruling, though. The tax court will now accept the filed when mailed rule for such motions nationwide, and the taxpayer's case is accepted. That's just common sense, right? Makes sense to me. How about this? The IRS loses. Mixed motives behind trust save it from the IRS. Here's the case. Jacob Eversoft received a $700,000 tax bill from the IRS that he contested. At about the same time, he created a trust for his children to which he transferred his home and $200,000. The IRS said the trust was set up just to avoid the tax claim, and so was invalid against it. Eversoft, who was aged 68, said the trust was an estate planning device to keep his assets from his estranged wife and be sure they went to his children. So he went to court for some justice. This is what the judge said. Both motives doubtless existed, but at the time, the estate planning motive predominated, as shown by the fact that Eversoft left more than $700,000 outside of the trust. So its assets are beyond the IRS's reach. You got to love this stuff. I know I do. Let me give you one that the IRS conceded on, and you've heard me say it many, many times. The IRS only concedes when they're pretty doggone sure they can't win, and they don't want to be embarrassed in court and set up a precedent. So let me tell you about this one. Ignorance of rehabilitation tax credit excuses a late application for it. Here's the thing. A property owner rehabilitated a certified historic structure in a manner that qualified for the rehabilitation tax credit of up to 20% of rehabilitation costs, but failed to apply for the credit until after the deadline for doing so. Why? The owner hadn't known the credit even existed and applied for it only after learning about it. The IRS ruling? An extension of the deadline can be granted if the taxpayer acted reasonably and in good faith. That was the case here, so a late application for the credit is absolutely allowed. You got to love it. That just makes, what do they call it? Common sense, yeah. Oh, yeah, you've heard me say it before. Do you ever want to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing something? Absolutely. You know what? And that's what we're talking about right now when we talk about inside the IRS. So let me tell you about this. These are not court cases. These are precedents that were set. The IRS made decisions, applied these decisions, and now they've got to live with them. So sometimes you can apply these for yourself. Here's one. When the IRS rejects your offer in compromise, here's the thing. The IRS will generally reject an offer in compromise if it determines that it could collect more money, albeit more slowly, over time. You can file a petition with the tax court if you think that the IRS has abused its discretion in reaching its decision to reject your offer. Now, abuse of discretion exists if the IRS employee handling your case fails to consider information submitted to him or her, or fails to follow established IRS procedures in reaching his decision, which is most of the case. I got to tell you, most all offers and compromises are kind of declined on their surface, and you got to fight to get them. And they're not easy to get. They take about a year to get through it, and there's a lot of work to go through it. Some people think they can do this on their own. My personal opinion is always get a tax professional to help you with it. They'll help you get through this thing and be successful. Here's another one. Beware of relying on a family limited partnership to reduce estate taxes. Here's the thing. The IRS continues to win cases in the tax court when an estate claims a discount of the value of securities and real estate held by a family limited partnership. Now, here's how it works. Assets are transferred before a parent's death to a family limited partnership, and the parent owns the bulk of the partnership. The balance of the partnership interests are gifted to family members. When the parent dies, the estate takes a lack of marketability discount so that the partnership interest owned by the decedent's estate is worth less than the value of the underlying property held by the partnership. So family limited partnerships here's the thing, do not create such a family limited partnership when the decedent is elderly and infirm, and the establishment of the family limited partnership serves no business purpose other than to reduce estate tax. The decedent shouldn't treat the assets of the partnership as his or her own personal property, and don't fail to legally transfer the title of assets to that family limited partnership. This seems obvious, right? But many people fail to do this, and don't forget to follow appropriate investment and business practices with the family limited partnership. Changing investment strategy is needed, and keeping meticulous books and other records. You need to be doing this always, all the time, without fail. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we'll be with our own Sean Lefebvre and his Geared for Wellness group, and we'll be back after these brief messages. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:33 p.m. Pacific time, currently 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? Talking about heat and a guy that could actually study the cause of coronaries and just about gave me one. He's waiting in the wings. Let's see what he's got waiting for us. Let's bring him in here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. the nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean Lefebvre, in his Geared for Wellness Corner. All right, Sean, I think you do this on purpose, right?
I gotta let you know the old ticker still works, and when you get a pounding like that, it makes you aware. Okay, I'm still alive. I'm still working. So I did you a favor.
You did me a favor. Well, yeah, because now I know that the heart works. It'll pound fast, and I don't have the coronary, so I guess I'm in pretty good shape. But boy, you sure put me to the test.
Like to keep you on your toes.
Yeah. Hey, listen. How was your weekend, my friend?
What's that?
How was your weekend?
Oh, it was nice. I got some work done, and I got to go to the park. We have in Laguna Beach. They have a concert in the park, and they had reggae music, and I had a lot of fun. We had a good time, and just sat out there and enjoyed the sunshine. And it was kind of hot this weekend. I say hot for us anyway. But
you don't know what hot is until you lived over here, buddy.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I've been in that kind of heat. I've lived in it, and I'm thankful not to. When I lived in Kansas, people think Wichita, Kansas. They don't really think of hot temperatures. But the last summer that I lived there, we had 54 days that were 100 degrees or hotter in just the one summer. And the hottest day there was 118 degrees.
That's so 118? Yeah, that must be where the phrase "hot damn" came from, huh?
Yep. So, no. It's right now. It's boy, I tell you, it's sweltering here in Orange County. It's 78 degrees.
Well, we're 11 degrees warmer than that, and the high today was 94, but it's going down to 64. And boy, that's going to be a welcome thing. Boy, my air conditioning's been cranked up for about 3 or 4 days now.
Yeah. I've actually been using mine out here too. But anyway. So what's on the agenda today? What do you want to talk about? Well, I got all kinds of things to talk about, but if you got something on just itching you right now, we can get on that, or I can talk about my stuff. Whatever,
you know what? I did happen to see in the news today that the FDA finally approved the woman's sex pill to make them make their libidos better.
For women?
For women. They got to take it every day, and it doesn't start working. I guess it doesn't start working for a number of weeks or months, but eventually starts working. The downside of this is, that sounds almost like marriage, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So the downside of this is that they can't. It'll cause low blood pressure, so you can't take any antibiotics. You can't take any anything for women. That they usually take antibiotics for yeast infections and things. You can't do that with this pill because it'll just dump your blood pressure. So it's something that I don't think is going to be widely recognized, and certainly not going to bring in the billions of dollars that Viagra did.
Yeah, I don't think women really. Granted, there are some that do, but not on a general census like men. That women don't seem to probably have as much of a care about making sure their sex drive is high. Men, for whatever reason,
they've been faking it for so long that why change now?
Yeah.
See, besides, there's a difference. If you got a wet noodle, that makes things pretty tough. But on the other side of this, you're just ready, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So wow.
I was looking for a better way of putting that.
Go ahead. What was that?
I was looking for a better way of stating that.
I don't know if there was a better way to state it. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how that drug pans out. I can't imagine it's definitely not going to be as successful as Viagra or I don't even know what the other one's called. So it starts with C or something like that. Anyway,
yeah, it's got some weird.
Yeah. But Cialis, I think something like that. But I can't imagine that a pill for women's sex drive will be as successful as men's. I don't know. Maybe it will. Yeah. Maybe in 20 years, this new generation, that's kind of in their 20s now. They look at sex a lot differently. They don't really think that like when you grew up, even when I grew up, it was kind of one of those things. Like even though people didn't really do it, they still have that philosophy that you need to kind of save yourself as much as possible for marriage, and that was, there's still, like the woman would wear the white dress to show purity and all these things. And I don't think that this generation, both men and women, really care about that kind of stuff.
Well,
so
they obviously don't, because they obviously don't, because women are still wearing their white dresses down the aisle and inviting their kids to come with them before they get married.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the white dress really doesn't mean anything it used to. But so now it's just because it's what we've always done, and I don't think people really even give it a second thought anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sexuality nowadays is different. I don't think that this younger generation really plays hard to get. So who knows? Maybe for them, as they get older, maybe they'll want this stuff because they're kind of in that mode.
I remember really getting ticked off. I mean, really bad, because I got married in 1965. And it was just after that the sexual revolution started taking place, and there was all this free sex all over the place, and I missed out on all that stuff. I've met your wife, and I'm pretty sure you got the better end of that deal. Oh no, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. Well, yeah, I am complaining. It's nothing to do with my not being madly in love with my wife. It's that if I could have delayed that marriage for 3 or 4 years, wow.
You could have sowed some oats. And did you know that every time that a man and woman have sex, that when the man ejaculates inside the woman, that he deposits a portion of his DNA into her DNA, and her DNA actually takes on properties of his DNA. So when they talk about, like, the two shall become one kind of thing, and you go consecrate the marriage afterwards, there's a lot of truth to that. Actually, the woman's DNA changes when she has sex with a man, as long as he ejaculates inside of her.
That's really interesting. Let's explore that for a minute, because for years and years and years, Sean, they've talked about for the lack of a better term, old married couples, but let's just say people that have been married for a while. They they think alike, they act alike, and pretty soon they don't even have to talk to each other. They know what each other are thinking, and they answer before the question's asked.
Yeah, I would feel that that's a big part of it is because of that. Her DNA is now more similar to his than it was before their marriage. So I don't know if there's a law of diminishing returns, or if it's just it only takes one time, or the more you commit the act, that you have sex, that the DNA gets a little bit stronger inside the woman, or if it fades over time. I don't really know all the answers to that, but I would imagine that's got to have a big part of it. Plus, your energy field that you've got that makes our whole body is just really a big ball of energy, and you get your energy mixed together, and I would say couples who are close physically and emotionally both, those are the ones where you see where they're really in harmony. And like you said, they can complete each other's sentences. They can tell what the other one is thinking. They can feel them when they're in the room.
Well, I think we need to put that ejaculation to the test.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I remember when
on a daily basis.
Yeah. Oh God. Anyway, I remember when we went to the marriage rehearsal, because you used to go to a rehearsal before we actually got married, and so you go to the rehearsal, and I remember Father Kelly coming out the back of the church, and he says, "Well, Bob, anybody got any questions or anything around here?" And I says, "Yeah, Father Kelly." He says, "You suppose I could get a 2-week learner's permit before we actually tie this knot?" And I thought he was going to smack me.
That's great. I like it. That's can I get a sample first? I want to make sure I'm absolutely.
I mean, it's not only not unheard of today. It's more the standard than the exception.
Yeah, it's funny. There are people who are actually going into marriage nowadays with the idea, the philosophy, or the premise behind that marriage is, this is my practice marriage. They're going to get married just to see what marriage is like, not expecting it to last. This is not a till death do us part. This is until we figure out that, okay, this is what we like and don't like in marriage, and then we'll separate, and then we'll go on and find someone else that we really want to marry. And that blows. I can't even wrap my mind around what what goes through a person's mind that says, hey, I want to get married just to see what marriage is like. And this is going to be my practice run. This is going to be my rehearsal.
Well, that's really sad, because when Marlene and I got married, it was in an era where we knew that marriage was for life, right? Now, that doesn't mean that you didn't have some peaks and valleys and some rough spots, but, it was like anything else. If something got broken, you fixed it. You didn't throw it away.
Right. And my generation obviously didn't believe that. I'm a perfect example of that. Here in Orange County, the divorce rate is 72%.
Oh,
in
wow.
fact, it's the same. It's the same in Wichita, Kansas, where I came from. It's about 71, 72%. It's almost the same.
That's huge.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's huge. You know what? And I wonder if it's because today's society has found out that it's just easier to get out than to work at it.
I can tell you from experience, it's not easier, but but it's one of those things that, do you go, okay, do I want to keep working at this for the rest of my life? I know for me personally, my marriage was just one that should have never happened. Mm-hmm. We got married, she was pregnant, and so we got married, and one of those things, and we were young, and really it was just a very bad connection. It was just we were very mismatched.
It's a hit and miss thing anyway, because you never really know your spouse until after you've married your spouse, because everybody's always on their best behavior until then, right?
Right. And right. Exactly. Yeah.
And so you don't really know each other. But I'll tell you, learning about each other is what brings you closer and closer together. And going through hardships and difficulties and trials and issues, that's what brings you closer together. There's nothing my wife doesn't know about me, nothing I don't know about her. I'd hate to have to train somebody else.
Exactly. And I do. I see people like you have a great marriage, and I know a few other people. I honestly wish I knew more. I don't know many who have a great marriage, one like yours. Yeah, but when I do see it, I am a bit envious. I go, that's really what I wanted growing up. And it's funny because my son, he has zero desire to get married. It's like marriage is one of those things. He's like, I don't know that I ever want to get married. And a lot of his friends are like that. Their generation, they're going, what's the point? All they see is pain and suffering from their parents because of marriage and divorce. And it's an interesting dynamic nowadays. But we're getting ready to go on a break, and when we come back, maybe we'll talk, we'll talk maybe more about something else. But we'll figure it out when we return after these messages from our sponsors.
Sounds good. We're talking to our own Sean Lefebvre and his girl.
My girl?
Hey, well, what? When we come back, we'll talk about girls. No reason not to do that. We'll be right back with Sean Lefebvre in his Girl Corner right after these brief messages. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Sean LaFave. And you know what? We've been talking about girls. Let's continue talking about them. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But let's talk about Sean's girlfriend. Hey, anyway, Sean, you know...
hey, look, it's the Goodyear blimp. Not talking about my girlfriend. I'm trying to distract is what I'm doing. Let's just clarify that right away. But that was not... Man, I'm going to be in big trouble if I... Anyway, so we're just talking about girls?
Especially if she's listening. Hey, you know what? I wanted to ask you... I wanted to talk about politics for just a minute.
Yep,
you know,
I love politics.
I don't know if you... I'm sorry, say it again?
Well, I said I just love politics, so let's go for it.
Mitch McConnell just made a statement today, and Mitch McConnell, you know, is the Speaker of the Senate and the Majority Leader, and he says looks like President Obama is going to get his Iran deal. That he's going to get that they haven't got enough votes in the House and the Senate to actually stop this thing. And I was wondering, you and I briefly talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I was wondering what your thoughts were on this.
No, I don't really have any thoughts, to be honest with you. I think it's not a bad thing that he's doing this deal. I really don't know what alternatives. I hear a lot of people saying, they don't want this deal, and we should have gotten our hostages back, and we should have done this, and they're still going to be able to build a nuke, 10 or 15 years down the road, and on and on. I'm going, hey, that's all great and good, but at least it's delaying the inevitable. That's in this case is a good thing, because maybe we can come up with some agreement in the next 10 years. But I haven't found anybody who's really put out a better solution other than send them some of our own nukes.
Well, the thing where I'm coming from here on this one, Sean, is that you're right. Nobody's come through with a better solution. All they can say is, I don't like it, we should have done this, we should have done that. Truth is, we did everything that we went in to do. And the other truth is, if this doesn't work, we still have all of our other options available to us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like, we have to be U.S. It's not like we have to play nice no matter what they do. If they stop playing nice, we don't have to. We can stop playing nice too.
Yeah, you know what? And my understanding is there is a military component to this. That there is already a plan on the table if Iran reneges on this deal. And so, you know what? Good. There's a part of me that says, hey, if they want a nuclear weapon, let's send them a couple. But but basically, let's let them earn it first.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I would love to give them the chance to go, okay, they deserve this deal. To see them come through. Because, I know this, of course, living in, Southern California, Orange County, L.A. area, we have such a melting pot. I don't really call it a melting pot. I don't even like that word because everybody still kind of keeps their own. Mm-hmm. But I know a ton of Iranians here. and they're all good people. And there's Iran is kind of one of those countries that has it's got a lot of Muslims, it's got a lot of Christians, it's got a lot of everything, and it's got people who hate America and people who love America, and so it's a really interesting country. Now the leadership, the hardcore leadership, they just assume bury us if they have the chance. But so I think right now giving them a chance to prove that they can behave themselves is a good idea, and hopefully maybe some leadership over the next 10 years will move up and we'll have a little bit less hostile environment towards Israel and the United States.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I just think that anything is better than war. Anything is better than seeing our men and women come back maimed and crippled and dead. Especially when we get nothing from it. There's a part of me. Marlene won't even talk politics to me anymore. She's a Hillary Clinton supporter, and I'm a Donald Trump supporter. And she says, "How can you support this guy?" I says, "Mar, because everything he says, I've been thinking."
Yeah, that's the funny thing about Donald Trump is he's just saying what a lot of people are thinking. People don't like what he's saying, but it's true.
Yeah. I think we need to clean house in Washington, D.C. I'm tired of professional politicians. Look what they've done to us.
Yeah, and it's another career politician is not this kind of change. And I'm looking at Donald Trump and I'm going, you know what? I'd love to see him get in the office just to see if someone who's not a career politician, who's an intelligent, logical businessman, will actually make a difference. Yeah, he's crude, and yeah, he doesn't really give a crap what you think. He's going to say what's on his mind. But I think we kind of need that. Look at Putin. There's a guy who he doesn't care what anybody thinks in the world, and he's making things happen. We don't like all the stuff that he's doing, but he's making some pretty amazing things happen in this country.
Well, the biggest problem that I have is if the electorate doesn't clean house in Washington, D.C., it really doesn't make any difference who we put into the White House. Donald Trump, what's going to happen to Donald Trump? He's used to making decisions and having people jump when he says do something, and that's not going to happen if he goes to Washington, D.C.
Right, it's not, yeah. But I still think it'd be great to see him there, and I'd be really interested in who knows, maybe he could turn out to be the next Ronald Reagan.
I'll tell you what, if he gets elected, then I can just see the first thing he's going to do by executive order is he's going to have 100 semi-trucks full of Depends sent to the Congress.
Full of what?
Depends.
Depends.
Because these guys are all going to soil their pants.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yep. Yeah, it'll be interesting. And I honestly, I have tried to be objective here, and I don't understand how people at this point, like your wife, I don't understand how anyone can support Hillary Clinton at this point. I just don't get it.
Yeah,
I can tell you, as a person who spent 10 years as a reserve, 4 years active duty, 10 years as a reservist in the military, if I had a single classified piece of information on a personal computer of mine, I would have gotten court-martialed over it. There's no, or at least got an Article 15 where you basically, take the punishment of what would have come from a court-martial without actually having to plead guilty. But I just don't understand.
What on earth gives her the right to make a decision to take sensitive material that is critical to the people in the government of the United States and put it on a private server just because she thinks it's more convenient? It's certainly more transparent because everybody's going to find out about all these secrets. So, And if the FBI is looking at it, and the Ethics Committee is looking at it, the State Department's looking at it, the administration's looking at it, there's something wrong. There's fire. If there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
And now I heard there's like 3. They've gone from 4 classified documents to 60 classified documents. Today I heard over 300 potentially classified documents. Where is this going to end? Now, what are we going to do when she really gets classified information as President of the United States?
Yeah. Yeah, if she's untouchable, if she's that untouchable now, oh my gosh, when she becomes the president, she's going to do anything she wants to and get away with it.
Well, her popularity and her polls are dropping. Bernie Bernie Sanders. If we weren't going to get a Donald Trump, and I got to tell you, there's a few guys that I like. I like John Kasich on the Republican side. I like I can't think of his name. The Wisconsin governor. Why can't I think of his name? Anyway, not important. But I like Trump, and Trump would be my number one guy. But if I couldn't have one of them, you know what? I think Bernie Sanders would be a fresh breath of air there.
Yeah, he's definitely different than anyone else.
Well, the only difference between him and Donald Trump is about $10 billion, and but they keep saying the same things, really. The other thing is, I was watching this show on TV. It was called Chris Matthews and Hardball, and he asked the DNC chairwoman. I can't think of her name right off the top of my head. But,
what the difference between a socialist and a Democrat was.
Yeah, she couldn't answer it.
She had no idea. Yeah,
couldn't answer it.
See, you're the head of the Democratic National Committee, and you can't even tell me the difference between a Democrat and a socialist. Maybe you need to go back to.
That's because there is no difference.
Call yourself the head of this organization.
Yeah, that's because there is no difference.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was reading, I read a report the other day, is that the Social Security Fund, the Medicare Disability Fund, runs out of money this year.
Yeah, of course the Social Security Fund is going to run out of money.
The disability, the
plenty
Medicare
of money
disability
for Obama to continue to go golfing, but
the Medicare disability runs out of money, and it's really because Congress has mishandled the doggone thing. They had $31 trillion set aside, but the biggest problem are the baby boomers. But you know what? They keep saying, "Hey, you know what? We've got enough money to last us the next 25 years." Well, you know what? The baby boomers are 65. In 25 years, they're going to be 90. They're going to be gone anyway. The problem's solved.
I hope so, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in that system. I personally believe that the Social Security system at some point is going to crash, and it's just what we've done is our government has taken Social Security and they've used it on everything else.
And that's the problem. That's actually the problem. It's not Social Security that's the problem. It's Congress that has used that money. They borrowed it. If they would just pay the interest on the money that they have shifted, we would be fine in Social Security. The premise of Social Security is a good one, and the other premise is, how do they take that money away when they demanded by law that they take it right out of my paycheck ever since I was 16 years old, right? Well, what are they going to do with those thousands of dollars of my money?
Yeah, it's funny. There are retired people out there who believe, that still to this day, that believe that the government has like a little account where they put the money, Social Security money, it's got their name on it, and they're going to get all of this back. It's like, no, by the time you filed your taxes, they'd already spent all the money that you gave them for that year.
Yeah.
And then what they're paying you now is the money they're taking from me and my son and Robert Cardoza, and that's where they're paying Social Security from. They're paying these people for the money they're taking from us. It's not like they're paying them their money back that they've been holding in a bank account.
Well, you know what? If Congress,
it's really it's not much different than a Ponzi scheme.
Oh, that's right.
It's really.
Well, you know what? I've never heard anybody describe it that way, but you're absolutely right. It is very, very similar to a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
And a Ponzi scheme will eventually fall apart and disintegrate.
Yeah.
And that's what Social Security is going to do. It's a pyramid.
Yeah. When you got when you have more people collecting than you have paying, you got a problem.
Yep. And that is the problem. Yeah. That system's in big trouble. It's in big trouble.
Yeah.
So I wish I could tell the government, you know what, keep all the money you've ever taken from me when it comes to Social Security, and just let me not pay it anymore, and I'll take care of myself when I'm 20,
I wish I could
20 years from now. I'm getting close already. I'm over halfway there. But
there's a lot of things I would like to tell the government.
Our time's up. You know what? I tell you, when we come back, I'm going to give you since I know you like to do the cliffhangers. Next week we come back, I want to talk about some drugs I want to talk about Oxycontin, which is a horrible drug, and the things that the FDA just approved it for, and it'll blow your mind. So we're going to talk about that when we come back on Thursday, okay? And then we'll talk about whatever else on top of it.
Sounds good. We've been talking to our own Sean Lefebvre in the Geared for Wellness Corner. We've been talking about everything else but Geared for Wellness. But you know what? We'll talk about Oxycontin on Thursday. I think I'll find that refreshing and interesting. I don't know about refreshing, but it'll be interesting. And,
it'll be interesting.
So don't go away. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Suzette Mailer with her series, the IFAB Travel Corner. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, my friend.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:07 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? She's been away. She's jetting back in here. Get ready for the IFAB Travel Corner with our own Suzette Mailer. Let's get her in here. All right, Suzette, here she comes.
Hi, Robert.
Hi, Suzette. How are you? How was your vacation? How are the?
It was fabulous. A little bumpy at times.
Bumpy?
But fabulous. Fabulous.
So
we went to Mammoth Mountain in California, located in the Sierra Nevada mountains.
Uh-huh.
And we enjoyed some lodge living, if you will.
Lodge living, not large living, but lodge living.
Definitely not large living.
So I want to know: did the the queen of the household have to cook, or did Ray do the cooking, or did you guys go out for dinner?
Oh, no. I cooked. Well, Ray barbecued. He did the barbecuing. You see, lodge living is rustic. It's so beautiful out there that you just don't want to drive down the mountain. And so I do have a description of lodge living, but it's just, you can get the lodge living down in Mammoth. They've got some fancy accommodations down there, but this is pretty rustic. We stayed in, let me first describe the scenery. There are multiple lakes in Mammoth that are connected by streams, and the higher lakes are at 10,000 feet. They feed, when the snow melts from the mountain peaks, it feeds that lake, and then that lake feeds lakes at lower elevations, by streams and waterfalls. Mm-hmm. So you have multiple lakes there. It's just beautiful. But I think the lake we stayed at was the most beautiful, and it's called Lake George, and it's surrounded by a steep mountain. So we are, there was this lodge with multiple cabins. It's called Woods Lodge, and these multiple cabins were detached and spread about, and they all had balconies. And from my bedroom window, from the balcony, from the dining room window, you could see the lake. Mm. And the lake was surrounded by pine trees, and not all the lakes were surrounded by alpine, but it was just beautiful.
Fresh, clean, crisp air?
Yes. Oh, yes. And so, let's see, how do I say this? My husband and daughter and I were there for a week. We stayed at, let's see, so lodge living. Let me describe lodge living. It's not been Home Depot-tized. Their cabins are rustic and old. The furniture is old. One sink, I visited another. My sink was brand new. The kitchen was very nice, but one sink was circa 1950s. Yeah. I don't know if you recall those single units that were, powder coated. This one was in yellow. It's a metal sink with a built-in dish rack and.
So did you guys fish?
No, don't jump ahead here.
Okay.
Part of the charm is that everything is immaculate in these cabins, and I just really appreciated that they did not throw out the old and bring in the new inferior cabinetries. That smell of particle board, furniture particle board, that outgasses, that would mask the beautiful smells of the alpines. And I'm giving actually what I'm doing here is a review, a lodge review, if you will. And so you have to let me do this. What's interesting about Woods Lodge, Robert, is the number of families that have returned for 30 years, 50 years, 55 years. I met 2 families there that had been returning for 50 and 55 years. They've been going there since they were little boys. What do you think about that?
I'm letting you talk.
There is something special there. Steve and Michael Clowers have been going there for 55 years with their family, and so they're bringing their grandkids up and their kids, and apparently their parents are still alive, but they're too old to make the trip. So anyway, that's thumbs up. 4 thumbs up. My 2 thumbs and your 2 thumbs for Woods Lodge.
So you were in a lodge. Is a lodge similar to a cabin?
Well, you have the main house. Oh, my goodness, that view over the lake. And then these were just individual cabins, old rustic wooden cabins.
Okay, so the lodge itself is kind of a central location for...
Yeah, it has the fireplace and books to read and lots of couches that overlook
when you retire at night, you're in a cabin.
Yes. So basically, we were in a cabin, a little cabin, and nestled in the woods, and you had trees around and lots of chipmunks.
So so you did the cooking in the cabin? Do they serve food in the lodge
at all? Ray barbecued, and I tossed a salad. But let me just tell you, I brought a beautiful white tablecloth and hotel silver. It's as if you owned your own cabin, and you pack the station wagon, and you put what you want in it, and you bring it up there, and you live. It's a different way of doing things. I don't know if you ever read The 4-Hour Work Week, but Tim Farrell said, "Don't buy, just lease and rent." So you pretend it's your own lodge every year, and you go up there. And I think that's what these families have been doing. So anyway, that's it. But we must move on because we have to move to higher altitudes here.
Well, you can't. You cannot move on yet because if you're going to give me a report of this lodge, you got to tell me more than that. You said it was rustic. You said it had an old sink and a new sink. Did it have a toilet and a shower or a bathtub?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Robert. Yes.
Or an outhouse.
No, it was indoor plumbing.
Okay.
Good point.
All right. And then if there was an evening where you didn't feel like cooking, could you go into the lodge? Did they have a snack bar or a kitchen?
No, you had to drive down the mountain.
Oh, okay.
And of course, there were lots of nice restaurants.
So you guys pretty much packed your food with you?
Yeah, I would go down. I actually purchased food at a health food store. And also I want to put a plug in for an outfit called Trout Fitters. And they set us up with fishing pole and pliers. So we, if Annalisa wanted to fish, grown-ups have to buy fishing licenses. But here's a funny story. They rent something called waders, and if you've ever been up in the mountains, it's what this is it's a part of a inflatable boat, and it looks like it's been truncated. So it's just the bow actually, and then you put on these pants and you jump into the lake in this boat. So your legs are dangling in the lake, but you're not getting wet because you're inside kind of like a wetsuit. And so you're vertical in this part of a boat with a hat on and a fishing pole.
Did you take pictures?
The Trout Fitters was going to set us up with that, but we unfortunately, reflecting back on our day, we should have done that because what did happen was we ventured away from Mammoth and went into Yosemite, just a half hour into Yosemite, an hour away from our lodge. And then when we went to leave, the fire department said we could. The rangers said we couldn't because there was a fire. So we wound up driving 8 hours to get back to our cabin.
Oh my God!
We had to exit from the other side of Yosemite and drive north, parallel to San Francisco, mind you, or north. Cross the Sierras in a most remote area in the night with hairpin turns and sheer cliffs that we did not realize were sheer because it was so dark, and then drive south again to get back to our cabin. So we really wish we would have done those waders that day, as ridiculous as it sounds.
You probably could have gotten to San Francisco faster than to your cabin.
We could have. We were an hour and a half from San Francisco. Can you believe that? And it was unbelievable. So, but I have a funny joke.
All right.
I found that when we were walking the lake, I saw a man in with his waders, I guess they're called, in his boat. And I said, "Oh, you're like Pan the boat." Half man, half boat. Did you get it?
Yes.
A mythological character.
Yes.
Pam the boat,
yeah.
Half man, half boat. You'll find most of the fishermen don't get it, but their wives do. So anyway.
So you spent 7 days at the lodge?
Pardon me?
You spent 7 days at the lodge?
Yes. Actually 8.
8 days.
Yeah.
So are you glad to be home, or you wish you were still there?
Still there. I could live there the rest of my life. Listen, how much more time do we have before we go to a commercial?
1 minute.
Okay. Ray my husband brought a book called Meditations of John Muir, Nature's Temple by Chris Hyland. And I could not describe this experience better than John Muir himself. And so when we get back, I'm going to read some of his entries that beautifully describe this situation, words that we could never give it, he did. And so it will transport everybody to the Sierra Nevadas. So anyway,
that sounds
we'll do
wonderful.
that when we get back.
We'll do that when we come back. We'll hear the words of John Muir from Suzette Mailer right after these brief messages. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, hold on, because we're on our way to Wonderland with our own Suzette Mailer in our IFAB Travel Corner. Suzette, you've got the microphone. Tell me all about what John Muir thought about those mountains.
Okay, well, let's prep everybody. If you don't know who John Muir is, he's a Scottish-American naturalist, author, environmental philosopher, and an advocate for the preservation of wilderness in the United States. So he's the father of the national park system here in the United States. He was born in 1838 in Dunbar, United Kingdom. So he's from Scotland, and he died in 1914 in Los Angeles. And he lived in the wilderness. He actually walked from Indiana to the Gulf of Mexico, but he was diverted and he lived in the mountains. And So, and his writings have a spiritual quality and enthusiasm towards nature that it perfectly explained what we were taking in. He gave words to the beauty that touched all of our senses. So here we go. John Muir, nowhere will you see the majestic operations of nature more clearly revealed beside the frailest, most gentle and peaceful things. Nearly all the park is a profound solitude, yet it is full of charming company, full of God's thoughts, a place of peace and safety amid the most exalted grandeur and eager, enthusiastic action. And it was about this time a trout jumped out of the water. A new song, a place of beginnings, abounding in first lessons of life, mountain building, eternal, invincible, unbreakable order, with sermons and stones and storms, trees, flowers, and animals brimful of humanity. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, it is. Don't you wish you could write like that?
I do. Here's another entry, the Glorious Festival. And the winds, too, were singing in wild accord, playing on every tree and rock, surging against the huge brows and domes and outstanding battlements, deflected hither and thither, and broken into 1,000 cascading, roaring currents in the canyons and low-bass drumming swirls in the hollows. This was the most sublime waterfall flood I ever saw. Clouds, winds, rocks, waters, throbbing together as one. Wow, I mean, he just... And then, this is really interesting, and it's leading up to something important. Well, here's an interesting one. When the avalanche started, I threw myself on my back and spread my arms to try to keep from sinking. Fortunately, though, the grade of the canyon is very steep. It is not interrupted by the precipices large enough to cause outbounding or free plunging. Anyway, he's talking about an avalanche, and he said it was so exhilarating. Can you imagine having an appreciation for that?
No.
He was always trying
I
to
really
get
can't.
visitors to the park, to get them to appreciate it, because he had a problem with loggers and cattlemen, and so he was trying to preserve the park. So he wrote here, it seems strange that visitors to Yosemite should be so little influenced by its novel grandeur, as if their eyes were bandaged and their ears stopped. Most of those I saw yesterday were looking down as if wholly unconscious of anything going on about them, while the sublime rocks were trembling with the tones of the mighty chanting congregation of the tones of the mighty chanting congregation of the waters, gathered from all the mountains round about, making music that might draw angels out of heaven. And, and that brings me to this next point that I want to make. As we were diverted out of the Yosemite because of fire, we were queued up to leave on the other end. We had to drive to the western exit, and there was a car in front of us, and these guys had their arms out and they were flicking cigarettes outside their car.
You're
both driver
kidding.
and
You've got to be
passenger.
kidding me.
Pardon me?
You've got to be kidding.
I am not kidding. And where they were doing it, I would say 20 on that drive, the 120 that goes to Yosemite, Robert.
Yeah.
20% of Yosemite is burned down.
Really?
It's charred.
And these
timber.
idiots are flicking cigarettes out?
And they're flicking cigarettes. So I filmed it on my cell phone. I have their license plate, 3 witnesses, and not only there were 3 cars ahead of us. A couple of people were doing the same thing, and I couldn't believe it. I told the park ranger, and she said, "Well, they've just exited our jurisdiction," and so I have to say that what's really shocking about this, Robert, is 3 weeks ago we were in the Sequoias, and I saw a Japanese woman after she finished her cigarette, she was away from the other visitors. She was off on her own, and I was kind of trailing her because I was walking my dog. She flicked a cigarette into kindling and walked back to where all the visitors were and left it there.
What on earth have these people been using for brains?
See, I read this very interesting book, Robert. It's called the Sociopath Next Door, And it's written by a psychologist who did a study, and what she found was that there are people who are born without a conscience, and the people who are born without a conscience number as many as those with colon cancer.
Yeah, but these people are born with no common sense. Forget about
no,
a conscience.
No, they don't have
no
a conscience.
Sense.
And and it's like John Muir wrote here. That's why I read this last entry. He said he mentioned that people didn't even notice what was before them. They were just oblivious to the beauty and the importance of it. But what I found was the park rangers are apathetic. I don't know why they're apathetic to act and catch these people.
Well, let me ask you. Let me interrupt you for a second, because this just really incenses me that a park ranger would say, "Well, they just drove out of our jurisdiction." You know what? So make a phone call and call somebody whose jurisdiction it is, and bring their butts back here, and let's prosecute them.
Right. Exactly. And so I've been on the phone today, and I've been talking to park rangers, and I finally wrote to Donald Trump. Believe it or not, I went to his site and sent him a letter. So hopefully he'll respond to me. But interestingly, it was foreigners in that car, in that Honda Civic, and the park rangers say that they have most of the people in there are foreigners, and they rent cars, so it's hard to track them. But these guys were still in their car, and
wait a minute. That's not hard to track them.
About it.
Especially if they've got a rental car, it's not hard to track them, because they know if the car was a Hertz or an Avis or where it was. They know the license plate number. That's easy to find out there, and then they know who has the car at that time. How easy could it be to find out who it was?
Yeah, Robert, I think that what needs to be done, and I'm going to try to make these changes at these national parks, but we need, these people are arsonists, essentially, wouldn't you say? I mean, they are attempting to start fires.
Well, they're idiots.
And we need, they need signs. You know how we have signs to call 911 if you see a drunk driver?
Yeah.
Through these national parks, we need signs to say call 311 to report arsonists or people who are smoking and flicking their cigarettes out.
So here's
the
issue.
They need that in the national parks.
If you're
and
already
and
exiting,
what they can do immediately.
If you're already
exiting, that takes some money and time to do that. But they give everybody gets a newspaper when they enter the park,
Suzette,
and they need to put that on the front page. Report.
Suzette, if you're already exiting the west end of the park because of a fire, you can't go the other way, and this stupid park ranger says, well, they're out of our jurisdiction. What the heck does that person think caused this fire?
Right. Exactly. She said, yeah, that's a cigarette that caused the fire on the other end. Now, the fire was not in Yosemite, but it was right next to Yosemite, the Tioga Pass from the 395.
Yeah, but doesn't it it puts it in danger? You know what? It just appalls me. Too bad national parks weren't non-smoking areas.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was surprised to learn in Tuolumne Meadows. Mm-hmm. I am embarrassed to say I tried to buy a bottle of water, and they said we don't sell bottles of water here anymore. You have to bring your own bottle, and we'll fill it. And I was thrilled to hear that. And so if they can do that, maybe they can ban smoking. But
why not? Hey, you want to?
I think
if you
we
want
have
to see the magnificence of nature, you're not allowed to smoke here.
This person doing this. I have all the evidence they need, and I looked and saw his face, so I can, pick him out in a lineup. And I'm telling you, I think we need a system of how would you say that? So people can
stooge pigeon, stool pigeons.
So. Yeah, that was very disappointing. I think that actually I wrote Donald Trump, and I suggested that we need to maybe give our our park rangers more teeth and latitude, and there needs to be more communication.
Well, you know what?
They did say they could call the CHP.
Suzette, they have the teeth. They have the latitude. What they also have is lazy. They're lazy people that don't want to move that next step. You could, if they were dedicated the way they pretend to be, then they could have done something about it. I certainly, if I were a park ranger and somebody came to me and said that, and there was a car that just left and they got that proof, I would have moved mountains to get that person.
Yeah. I agree. My husband and my daughter are so sick of my activism. So I should have insisted he pull the car over so that I could go in and make them do something about that. Contact CHP or the police department in the next town to catch them.
Yeah. What's wrong with putting a bolo out and say, hey, these people have done... How do you know that they're not the same people that started the doggone fire?
Exactly. I am certain that, if I can go to the national parks 2 times and see the same thing, it must be happening a lot.
Of course it is. Which is why, if we're going to preserve magnificent areas like that, then you know what? If you're a smoker, you're going to have to spend a few hours or a few days or whatever it is not smoking, chewing on whatever you chew on, but you're not going to be able to smoke if you're in a national park.
I think that's a good idea, but I think we also need a system for people to report on smokers or people who are flicking their cigarettes outside or on the ground. Yeah. We really need a system like that. And I can assure you that if that were written in the paper and there were signs that, to report people, use your write an article in that in the National Parks paper. Everybody gets one when they enter the park. I think that the foreigners would not do it because they would not be able to enter the country again.
Yeah.
They could be arrested, and believe me, they are afraid of that. And then I'm not saying it's just foreigners doing this. I'm not. It just happened to be foreigners that I saw both times.
Yeah.
And I think that something's not right.
Well, that's an understatement.
Something is not right.
You know what?
We need to change this.
That's everywhere else we have laws and rules and regulations, and we have people to enforce those laws. You know what? I think that was just a cop out when they said they've left the jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Tell a California highway patrolman, hey, I'm in a different county. You got no jurisdiction here. Mm-hmm. See what happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm pressing for them to follow up on that.
Yeah.
It's just too good. I have evidence. It's too good not to.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's my story.
And you're sticking to it.
And that too, yes. So we had a great time. It was so beautiful. That drive kind of undid our vacation a little bit, but we would do it again. I highly recommend Mammoth and Woods Lodge, and any of those lodges are a good place to try. And then the village is the high-end housing and with restaurants down below. But I think the lodge living is the life for me.
Well, I'm glad you're back home. I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you had a good time, and I'm glad you're looking forward to a return trip. Suzette, this was very informative. I appreciate it. I'm really pissed off at the smokers, and we can talk about that at another time. And
I will let you know if Donald Trump calls himself and to speak with me.
Yeah, please do. I'm sure that'll get staffed out. In the meantime, don't go away, everybody. When we come back, it'll be today's birthdays, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, interesting but useless facts. And Suzette, have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to talking to Ray tomorrow.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:40 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 87 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what today is? Yep, it's August the 18th, and it's somebody's birthday. And you know what? We all know this guy. He was born in 1934, died in 1972, was a professional baseball right fielder. He won 12 Gold Glove awards and led the league in batting average 4 different seasons. Happy birthday, Roberto Clemente. And here's a guy that I'm sure all the ladies know, born in 1936, and a film director, actor, producer, environmentalist, and founder of the Sundance Film Festival. Happy birthday to Robert Redford. And another famous guy, born in 1957, another actor, comedian, writer, and director. He's known for his often angry comedic style, Dennis Leary. Yep. Well, what happened today in history? Can you imagine what it was? Sure you can. Today in history, it was in 1963, American Civil Rights Movement, James Meredith becomes the very first black person to graduate from the University of Mississippi. And in 1969, here's a name you'll all recognize, Jimi Hendrix plays the unofficial last day of Woodstock. And then finally, 1971, the Vietnam War, Australia and New Zealand decide to withdraw their troops from Vietnam. Well, the quote for today comes from Mignon McLaughlin. And Mignon says, "No one really listens to anyone else, and if you try it for a while, you'll see why." Yeah, it's not worth happening, right? So let's talk about those secret daily teachings for your life. And you know what? You know, if you listen to me, you know that this is all about a positive mental attitude, and it will absolutely change your life, and for the better. Here's the teaching for today. There is a huge difference between inspired action and busying yourself with activity in trying to make things happen. When you're busying yourself with activity because you don't believe the universe is working with you, everything is hard and feels like a struggle. You feel as though you're pushing against the current of the river and getting nowhere. You feel exhausted. Things begin to go wrong, and it feels like nothing is going your way. But when you are working consciously with the intelligence of the universe, everything is effortless. All your needs to accomplish your vision are absolutely met, and you are in a flow that is indescribable. That's exactly what it is. Well, let's talk about that Harvard business tip for the day. And the management tip today is to get people's attention, cut to the chase. Yeah. You know, with people being constantly bombarded with requests, it can be tough to get your colleagues' attention. That's why it's important to cut to the chase about what you need someone to do, when and why, whether you're sending an email or making a presentation or talking to your boss. Start with what you want. Provide the most important information up front and ask for what you need. John, I need your advice about the product launch. Or set the scene. Provide just enough context so the audience can follow along. To refresh your memory, the event we have planned is. That's where you get it going. And how about this? Explain the reason. What prompted you to deliver the message? We need to figure out how to motivate the vendor to meet marketing's deadline. And then finally, connect to the big picture. Why should your audience care? This is a critical step toward meeting our unit's goal of 65% customer retention. That's why they should care, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's time for those interesting but useless facts. And we've got some interesting ones and we've got some useless ones. So let's talk about those for a little bit here. Did you know that Sherlock Holmes never said elementary, my dear Watson? Isn't that interesting? How about this? Did you know that in Idaho, you may not fish on a camel's back? You got to say to yourself, where does some of this come from? And that's actually a law. You know, how about this? The average male ejaculation is 3 to 4 milliliters worth and contains 300 million sperm. Wow, there's a roundup for you. How about this? 2 objects have struck the earth with enough force to destroy a whole city. Each object, one in 1908 and again in 1947, struck regions of Siberia. Not one human being was hurt either time. You talk about a stroke of luck. That would be it, right? Did you know that a rhinoceros horn is made of compacted hair? Really not a horn. It's compacted hair. That's kind of interesting. I didn't know that, actually. Did you know, here's one, check your map. The Pacific entrance of the Panama Canal is farther east than the Atlantic entrance is. Isn't that interesting? The Pacific entrance of the Panama Canal is farther east than the Atlantic entrance. Now that is interesting. Did you know in Alaska, it's illegal to whisper in someone's ear while they're moose hunting? Go figure. Let's see here. How about this? A caduceus, the classical medical symbol of 2 serpents wrapped around a staff, comes from an ancient Greek legend in which snakes revealed the practice of medicine to human beings. Yeah, a caduceus, not a medusus. Okay. How about this one? Did you know the first 2 years of a dog's life are equal to 24 human years? Wow. I didn't know that. I've heard 7 years 1 year was equal to 7 years for a dog. I didn't realize the first 2 years were 24 years. Wow, that's unbelievable. Well, how about this? You know the best recorded distance for projectile vomiting? 27 feet. Now, you wonder how or why anybody would care. Let me leave you with this. The movie As Good as It Gets is called Mr. Cat Poop in China. Now, with that, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to be answering your emails. The first one's from Nathan Casillas from Omaha, Nebraska, asking about stock share basis, and I'll answer those questions right after these brief messages. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:51 p.m. Pacific Time, currently 87 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, we're coming down to the wire. It's time for our emails. Again, I'm going to tell you one more time, we do this for entertainment purposes, and sometimes the information you email me is just a little bit sketchy, but I do the best I can in answering your emails. But always, we encourage you to go to a licensed professional. They're going to always save you more money than they cost you, and they'll give you peace of mind, let you sleep at night, because if they make a mistake, they're required under their licensing to have errors and omissions insurance, which means if they make a mistake, they pay for the mistake, not you. So you get to sleep at night, not worry about somebody tapping you on the shoulder, ringing your doorbell, or calling you on a phone, or sending certified letters. Just, you can sleep. Don't worry about it. Okay, first email comes from Nathan Casillas from Omaha, Nebraska, asking about stock share basis, and writes, I bought shares of stock in a company that at different times and prices. Now I need to sell some before the year end. Can I pick particular shares to sell for best tax effect? If not, how do I figure the cost of those that I do sell when computing gain or loss? That's a good question, Nathan. So here's the answer. The general rule is that the first shares bought are deemed to be the first ones sold for tax purposes. So gain will be figured on the cost of the shares that you've held the longest. However, it is possible to select specific shares for sale. Now, to do this, you must identify to your broker the specific shares to be sold, and the broker must provide you with a written confirmation afterward that these shares were actually sold. Now, not all brokers are going to do this, so verify with your broker that he or she will do it. Now, go to IRS Publication 550, that's Investment Income and Expenses, for more details on this. Now, my next email is from Skylar Cisneros from Columbus, Ohio, asking about early retirement. He says, is it true that one can take payments from an employer's retirement plan without penalty at age 55? Are there different rules here than for an IRA where a penalty applies before age 59 and a half? Well, Skylar, yes, you can. If you terminate your employment with a firm in the year that you turn age 55 or older and leave your retirement funds in its retirement plan, you can begin to receive distributions from the plan with no premature distribution penalty. Now, for IRAs, a premature distribution penalty generally applies if funds are withdrawn before age 59 and a half. So, if upon terminating employment with a firm at age 55 or later, you transfer funds from its retirement plan to an IRA, you're going to be delaying the time at which you can take penalty-free distributions. So keep that in mind. You may not want to do that. Or you may, it depends. Next email comes from Leonardo Correa from Palos Verdes, California, asking about tax on winnings, and says, I won electronic equipment in a sweepstakes and sold it. I received a 1099 from the sweepstakes saying the equipment was worth much more than I actually sold it for. After paying the tax, I barely come out ahead. Is there anything to do here? Well, Leonardo, the value of the prize is taxable to you, and the sweepstakes was required to issue that Form 1099, but the amount on the 1099 is not proof of the prize's actual value. If you show you could have bought it for a lower market price, it may be taxed at that lower price. Now, you can't use the price that you sold the equipment for as its value because of resale typically brings a lower price than the original price anyway. But electronic equipment often is deeply discounted at retail. If you can find an advertised price for the equipment in the papers or on the internet that's less than that 1099 amount, you can report that value instead. Now, it's really important that you explain the difference on your return to avoid an audit, because they're going to be looking, the computers are going to see that difference, and it's going to hurt you a little bit. But if you write a note on there, then there'll be no consequence. Well, last email comes from Paris Andrea from Brookline, Massachusetts, asking about divorced and living at home. Here's the deal. It says, my wife and I are divorcing, but she wants to continue living in the same house with me. It's big enough for both of us to live in separately until she gets a new one. If she does, may I deduct some of my home ownership costs as extra alimony? No, you can't do that. And your deduction for cash alimony that you pay may be put at risk as well. The IRS does not allow an alimony deduction when former spouses live in the same household, and it considers spouses who continue to live in the home that they formerly shared while married to be in the same household, even if they physically separated themselves from each other within the house. So go pick up IRS Publication 504. That's divorced or separated individuals. You'll be glad that you did that. I promise you. You know what? Even better than that, go to that tax professional that I keep trying to tell you to go see. You'll be glad you did. I promise you'll be glad you did. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, Live 365 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Every single Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. On my next show, my expert contributor is going to be Ray Mailer in his series, The American Grid. My special guest, Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless, will be talking about new wireless news. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then, when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. And also, you can hear my show on 405 Media Radio at 6 a.m. until 8 a.m. Pacific Time. And in the meantime, I want you to stay happy. I want you to stay safe. I want you to be good. And good night, everybody.